Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're working on this Ford Lightning still. We already, in the last video, we took the bed off, tailgate off, removed the 2-inch drop hanger and put the stock hangers back on. Created my own flip kit, 6-inch flip kit, and installed it. Installed this underbed notch from another company. I'm not sure who. We had to do a lot of modifying to make it work, but it's in. We still need to install the crossbar. We also went ahead and took out the shocks. That way, because they were starting to get at a weird angle, that way we can get this. Right now it's sitting on the jack with all the weight on it. The jack stands are slightly loose. Well, they were. Guess I can go ahead and pump this one more time. But the weight is on the axle and on the leaf springs and everything. And when it came in, between the axle and the top of the frame was 10 inches. Now there's 6. So it went 4 inches lower. And if my math is correct, half that tire should be tucking up underneath that lip. And we're gonna do helper bags. That way he can fine tune where he wants the height of that fender to the top of that tire. And these aren't even the tires that go on it. These are just his rollers. I'm not sure the size. I don't recall offhand what size he's putting on it. He already has them, but it's gonna look good. So like I said, we still need to put the bridge bar in. Before I put the bridge bar in, I want to make the upper bag mounts, as well as we need to make and design the lower bag mounts for the axle. We can do all that over there on my table. It's wonderful having that plasma table. I can just think of something, draw it up, and cut it out, and I have it. I also need to manipulate the brake line and get it where I want it so I can put it back in its place. I had to take it out because it was in the way. The brake lines, fuel lines, all that stuff runs on the inside of the C channel, and it mounts right there. Or no, right there. So I have to make that, bend it up over the notch, back down and into position. But that'll get done once I paint it. I don't want to paint it and then the fuel lines and all that stuff be in the way and they get painted too. That's just not, you don't do it like that. I'm not going to be sloppy about it. We also still need to weld up this roll pan. Once I get the suspension and everything, the rear, how we want it and everything together, how it's going to be, then we'll start working on the bed. We have to weld up this roll pan, cut off the support bar. Yeah, quite a bit left still, so that's why I broke this into 2. If you haven't seen anything done yet on this truck, go ahead and watch last week's video. That'll bring you up to speed to where we're at now. We used the plasma table to make all the parts that I've needed. I made the flip kit. We made the U-bolt plate. I didn't make the top plate. That was already here. I already had that here, and the U-bolts already had that here from another disassemble or another build. So we'll dive right back into it and keep going. both coils and the bump stop pulled out. It's time to go ahead and design and figure out some bag brackets. The bottom one's gonna be a bolt-in. Not 100% about the top one. I'd like to make them both bolt-in, but they're gonna be extended. There'll be spacers. I tore the front apart because I want to know what bags to order for the front. I already know which ones we're going with the rear. Once we can get both the bags figured out, then we can go ahead and order the bags and the tank and everything else. Then we can keep moving forward. This isn't gonna lay fully out. This is just, like I said, these are just helper bags in the rear. The front will be fully bagged. How low they go, that's up to them if they want to tub it and all that stuff later on. But for now, they're just gonna sit on inner fender. Just a little bit of mock-up. That's already pretty close. And the inner fenders aren't removed. You get a smaller tire or take the inner fenders out, this thing might just lay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get some more measurements, take the tire off. I was curious to know how far it needed and how far it would go. So we'll go ahead, like I said, take the wheel off, get some measurements, and start drawing up and figuring out the rest of the brackets. We'll go ahead and order the bags. We're gonna use Slam Specialty SS6s in the front and SS5s in the rear. They will fit the needs and the space restrictions that I have on this. Now that these are all tacked up, I can actually kind of show you how they're gonna work. I don't think they're too warm. The bottom one is a little offset. And I have the files to these, so if anybody needs them, hit me up. The bottom one goes on here. And it's a little loose right now because everything's just hanging. When I put some pressure on this, it'll tighten up this straightness, and I'll be able to have more room to put a nut on it. But it's offset because the gap right here wasn't straight, and I wanted it to be able to center up a little more. And then the gap down there has more towards me because I wanted to bring it away from this. And then the top, so far, this is what I have. I may bolt that through the center there, and then I'm gonna make a little lip piece that holds this to here to keep this from turning. But it's something like this so far. Not 100%, but the bags are on the way. I already ordered the bags. I want to tack that even more. Oh, I missed a tack, that's why. Okay. I felt like it felt a little jiggly. But it'll be okay for mock-up. The bags are ordered. The tank is ordered. The valves, in this case a manifold, the controller, it's all ordered. The bags, 95% of everything will be here tomorrow. The only thing that won't be here tomorrow, will be here the following day, is the pressure switch, which is no problem. That's one of the last things. I can wire it up. I mean, it'll get here before I need it. So the next thing, like I said, we need the bags. That way I can see how everything fits up in here. See if I need to modify anything. Like again, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll make a plate for the top side. Because this has a bolt hole. That's a 3/4 inch. Nice heavy duty bolt, just like that one. Yeah, see. So I wonder if I should get another plate that's small enough to fit in this recess some, and I can weld a collar to it so it don't go all the way down, and then bolt these together. Or once I get that little lip, I can get that welded in and then put a piece in between that top piece, like right here. Once I weld this to there, I could weld another piece in here. That way it keeps this completely one piece. I don't know, I wanna make it removable. So we're not 100% yet. Could drill a hole somewhere else back here and run a bolt right here. And then a spacer and a bolt, I'm not sure. We'll figure it out though. One step at a time. This is something that's not an everyday kit you can buy. Which I can make it a kit. I can make these for a kit where you can at least pull that coil and get a bag in there. That's what we're doing. Next, if the bags don't show up and I'm feeling like I want to keep going, because they may show up tomorrow afternoon, I might go ahead and start mocking up the brackets for back here. Same thing. We got to do 2 top plates, 2 lower plates, and then 4 axle brackets to weld to that. That'll make, depending on the height. And then 4 tabs that go around the tube, and then they're gonna come down and curve to where the round plate will be. But moving right along, getting this knocked out. We added some of the bagging, but while it's here, why not get it knocked out? as you saw, we went ahead and set the bag in place. Screwed down, it's not tight, it's just there for mock-up. But there's the bag brackets and everything. And then I made a washer that's going to bolt on the top side of where the coil went. And it's gonna be made out of some thicker material even. And we're gonna bolt it in C, and it'll help it align it and keep it away from the frame as much as possible. We get those figured out, and I like how that works. Then we will go ahead and weld these brackets up solid. I have not done that yet. They're just tacked up for mock-up. We did get everything in. So we have the tank, the bags, compressor, airline, switch box. There's your switch box, the manifold, and then a gauge. This is an LED gauge. It has all 5 sensors, the tank, and each individual bag in one. So we'll check out and see how that works out. And we also got the bag bolts. There's 9 of them, and the other 3 are already on that bag. So let's go inside, go ahead and draw this up. We'll get them cut and try them out. So much closer. Just need to go in and draw up. I don't like when there's pressure under it. This wants to go this way. So I'm gonna go draw up a plate to set in here. That will keep that from rising. And then this should be a full bolt-on system. Nice and tight, some room in the back. This is a 6-inch bag. And it gives, I believe, 9 inches of lift, compresses down to 3. The 9 inches of lift. I may be off a little. I haven't checked the spec sheet today, but when I was ordering them and doing all that, I was. And then this one, it ain't stretched out because there ain't no air in it. But if it's sat completely like that, that bolt right there, set up there, and bam. This right here, yeah. Clearance all the way around. Something like that. I can put my hand all the way back here completely and wiggle it and still play with it. All right, so we'll go draw those little pieces up. Just need 2 of them. We'll tack them on, see how it fits, and go from there. And if we like everything, then we'll fully weld it up. And then we can paint it, put the bags in. I gotta put the fittings on the airline, and then we can plumb it. But before I do all of that, once I put tack that bracket for that bag on there so don't move, we're gonna put the wheel on and double check the clearance of everything. Make sure the bag ain't rubbing the tire or anything. That's as far as it goes, without it having to be heavily modified. I'll show you it touches the lip and the inner fender. Like, you would need to narrow some things to make it work. But this is the first mock-up with the bags in, the brackets in. Sorry, probably loud. The bags and brackets in. Let's get a little bit closer and under there. Let me grab the flashlight. Where did I put that? I just set it down. There it is. All right, let me show you what's going on down here. Bear with me. Both my hands are full. One's holding the phone and the other one's holding the light. So I had to just plop my butt down. So this is the first mock-up, first setup. Looks good, everything's straight, except for the bag touches there. So we're going to take 1 inch out of the top and add it to the bottom. And this is why everything's only tacked in place, because I'll go ahead and bust these loose and redo them. So let's go ahead and go in there and get 2 different sets drawn up, and then we'll cut 4 of each. So I'll fine tune this setup, and then once it's set up how I like it, we'll go ahead and let them be available. If you guys need them, let me know. Pull out the coils, put some bags in, throw your tank and everything on there, and then you got air ride. You get the right offset, then you may even be able to tuck, because like I was saying, there's no room here, but I guess let me get back on the creeper. Excuse me. There's more room in here. See, to the top. I can touch my hand still to the top of the fender. So if you got an offset and then you also modified or bent the brake line over and got an offset to where the wheels come in more, you'd be able to lay lower on this. So like I said, it's touching right here. So I mean, you could start to trim the fender and stuff, but could even go lower profile on this size tire, and it would go lower. Someone was asking me in the comments what size tires these were. 255, 50, 17s. All right, let's go ahead and pop these off and do some modifications. how that one works out. I'm comfortable with it. Gives you plenty of room with the bolt to mess with the airline. A 90 is gonna work the best. I'll aim it that way some, and then it'll curve around. I'll drill a hole with a grommet into that behind the shock, and we'll make sure that when this shock goes up, nothing touches it. Light it up a little better. That's fully dropped for the shock, and then jacked up all the way. It hits the fender, it just barely hits the fender right here. The new wheels and tires are bigger than what we're working with now. So if he ever wants to go lower, this piece can be cut out, and then I can make bag brackets directly onto the frame down the road if he ever wants to go even lower. So next, we'll pull them out, disassemble them off that bag, and go ahead and fully weld them up, and then paint them. And then we'll bolt them in, and no, we won't. We won't bolt them in. That way we can go ahead and do the air management after we get done with the back. Before we paint these, we'll let them cool down a little bit. Show you some of the little welds, per usual. I think they'll hold. What do you think? Get some of this zooming in. They're probably gonna play games with me. Like I said, we'll let them cool down, and then we'll go ahead and paint them up. And then we can set them off to the side and let the front be. I'll take the coils and the parts that were taken out and set them aside so they can go back to the customer. Then we can start working on that rear. Start getting the bag brackets mocked up for it. So like I said, we'll let them hang out for a minute. Excuse me, let them hang out for a minute, and then we'll raise the hoist in the air, put that bar back on there, and get them painted up. These are ready to go, all painted up as you saw. We'll let these hang out and dry before we start putting them back together. Only thing I'm going to do on those is put them on the bags and then set them aside. Front is basically done. I don't want to put them in until I figure out where we're doing the airline, setting the tank, the compressor, and all that good stuff, because you need to connect the airline, then bolt it in. So next we'll go ahead and start working on the back. We'll start figuring out the bag brackets and get that mocked up. And then we can start working on the air management. Once we get the air management done, get that all hooked up, the air ride will all be hooked up to it. Then I can cut the support bar on this bed. And then we'll find out what we're gonna do with this roll pan. Whether I weld it up solid, or I might make a bracket for the backside and then have a stud welded onto the back of it or something. I'm not sure yet. I do not know if I'm gonna weld it in fully or we're gonna make it removable. We've already got everything else done. We still need to do, once we get, like I said, once we get the bags figured out, mocked up where they're gonna go, then I need to put everything back together, the brake lines and all that good stuff. Maybe I'll tape up the cleaned up part on both sides and then go ahead and paint the notches. That way I can go ahead and get maybe the brake line next bolted in and figured out. But it's one step at a time. We'll clean up a little bit, set the coils out of the way, get the parts we don't need out of the way. And then we can, like I said, we'll get all that done. Then we can move on to getting all this air management put in. We also need to, I want to make a mount for the gauge. I want it next to the gauge. This is the gauge that is already in the vehicle, which is a boost gauge for the supercharger. We ain't got far. This is the last of the front, so this is it for this video. We're gonna do the rest of everything on the last video, and that will be the third and final video. So we're going to get right back at it, and you will see a continuation if you look out for the video next week. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Share the video, like it, comment. That way we can get the algorithm and the engagement going. See if we can get some more reach on these videos. As always, I want to say, everyone, thanks for watching. Have a good night. I'll see you on the next one.